Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying to our closest celestial neighbor to uncover some truly mind-blowing facts about the moon. You might think you know all about that big, beautiful rock in the sky, but trust me, it has some wild secrets. So, buckle up, as we explore everything from its cosmic origins to its strange future, and even its surprising brush with corporate advertising. Let's get started. First up, did you know the moon is slowly ghosting us? That's right, it's drifting away. This massive satellite that lights up our night sky seems like a permanent fixture, but it's actually on a slow-motion escape route. Let's rewind about 4.5 billion years. When the moon first formed, it was incredibly close to Earth, orbiting at a distance of just 20 to 1,500 kilometers. Compare that to today, where it's a whopping 384,400 kilometers away. So, what happened? Well, back in the early days, the moon's proximity to Earth created ridiculously high tides. The gravitational pull was intense. This interaction led to a phenomenon called tidal acceleration, which essentially gave the moon a tiny push, causing it to spiral outwards. And this process is still happening right now. The moon is drifting away from us at a rate of 3.8 centimeters per year. To put that in perspective, that's about the same speed your fingernails grow. It might not sound like much, but over cosmic timescales, it really adds up. So what does this mean for our future? In theory, this slow drift could continue for about 50 billion years. Eventually, Earth's rotation would slow down so much that our day would last as long as the moon's orbit. At that point, the moon would appear to hang motionless over one specific spot on Earth. Our days would become incredibly long, and the moon itself would look much smaller in the sky. We've seen a similar thing happen elsewhere in our solar system. Pluto and its largest moon, Charon, are tidally locked, meaning they always show the same face to each other. But don't start worrying about waving goodbye to the moon just yet. Long before it has a chance to escape completely, something much more dramatic will happen. In about 4.5 billion years, our sun will enter its red giant phase. It will expand and engulf the inner planets, and sadly, both Earth and the moon will be destroyed. So, our celestial dance partner won't leave us. We'll be going out together. Now for something a little more lighthearted. Fact number 2. People have actually played golf on the moon. Yes, you heard that correctly. During the Apollo 14 mission, back in 1971, astronaut Alan Shepard decided to bring a little piece of the golf course to the lunar surface. After completing his official duties, he took out a specially adapted 6-iron club head that he attached to a sample collection tool. His fellow astronaut, Edgar Mitchell, filmed the whole thing. Shepard took a couple of practice swings in his bulky spacesuit, and then he hit the first ball, which didn't go very far. But the second shot was a different story. He connected cleanly, sending the ball soaring into the low-gravity, airless environment. For years, Shepard famously claimed that the ball traveled for miles and miles and miles. It became a legendary tale of sports in space. However, the story doesn't end there. Half a century later, an imaging expert named Andy Sondas decided to put this claim to the test. He meticulously analyzed archival footage from the mission, including scans from the lunar module's camera. By enhancing and stitching together the images, he was able to track the ball's trajectory and pinpoint exactly where it landed. The result, the miles and miles, turned out to be a more modest 120 feet, or about 36.5 meters. Still, it's an incredible feat, and it officially makes the moon the universe's most exclusive and challenging golf course. Moving on to our third, and perhaps most poignant fact, a human being is buried on the moon. Normally, when someone passes away, their ashes might be kept by family, placed in a columbarium, or scattered in a meaningful place on Earth. But for one remarkable scientist, his final resting place is literally out of this world. Eugene Shoemaker was a renowned planetary geologist. He pioneered research into impact craters and co-discovered the famous comet Shoemaker-Levy 9, which spectacularly collided with Jupiter. Throughout his life, Shoemaker dreamed of becoming an astronaut and walking on the moon himself. He wanted to study its geology up close, hammer in hand. Unfortunately, a medical condition prevented him from ever qualifying for spaceflight. He once said, "Not being able to go to the moon and strike it with a hammer was the biggest disappointment of my life." Tragically, Shoemaker died in a car accident in 1997, but his colleagues at NASA decided to honor his lifelong dream in a truly beautiful way. They took a portion of his ashes, placed them in a small metal capsule, and attached it to the Lunar Prospector probe. On July 31, 1999, at the end of its mission, the probe was deliberately crashed into a crater near the Moon's south pole. To this day, Eugene Shoemaker remains the only person whose final resting place is on another celestial body. His legacy is literally etched into the surface of the world he longed to visit. Our fourth fact sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. The Moon almost became the site of the world's first giant space pizza ad. In 1999, the marketing team at Pizza Hut was brainstorming some truly audacious ideas. Their goal was to do something so big, so bold, that everyone would be talking about it. And what's bigger than the Moon? The initial plan was to project a massive Pizza Hut logo onto the lunar surface using powerful, Earth-based lasers. Imagine looking up at night and seeing a giant, red logo next to the Sea of Tranquility. However, when they ran the numbers, they hit a cosmic-sized snag. The engineers and physicists they consulted calculated that for the logo to be clearly visible from Earth with the naked eye, it would have to be roughly the size of Texas. The technology and power required to create such a projection were simply beyond their reach. It was a brilliant, if slightly crazy, idea that was ultimately shelved. Wisely, the company decided to scale back its ambitions just a little. Instead of a lunar laser show, they paid to have their new logo emblazoned on the side of a Russian Proton rocket that was launching a component of the International Space Station. It wasn't quite as epic as branding the Moon, but it was still a major marketing win. And as part of that same campaign, they actually delivered a pizza to the ISS, where the astronauts got to enjoy a slice in orbit. It just goes to show you, sometimes even the sky isn't the limit for advertising. Finally, our fifth and most fundamental fact: the Moon is actually a piece of our own planet. So, where did it come from? The leading scientific theory is known as the giant impact hypothesis. The story goes like this: about 4.5 billion years ago, our Earth was still a young, molten planet, just beginning to take shape. At that time, it wasn't alone. Another planet, about the size of Mars, was on a collision course with it. Scientists have even given this hypothetical planet a name: Theia. The collision between early Earth and Theia was an event of unimaginable scale and violence. It was a cataclysm that reshaped our world. The impact was so powerful that it blasted a huge amount of molten rock and debris into space, about 1.2% of Earth's entire mass. But this material didn't just fly off into the void. Instead, it was captured by Earth's gravity and began to orbit our planet as a massive, glowing ring of debris. Over a surprisingly short period of time, cosmically speaking perhaps only a few hours, gravity went to work. The countless fragments of rock and dust began to clump together, a process called accretion. This growing sphere of debris eventually coalesced to form the Moon. Initially, the newborn Moon was a searingly hot ball of magma, a global ocean of molten rock. It took nearly 200 million years for this ocean to cool down and solidify, forming the lunar crust we see today. This theory beautifully explains why rock samples brought back from the Moon have a chemical and mineral composition that is remarkably similar to Earth's. The Moon isn't just our neighbor, it's a long-lost piece of home. So there you have it, 5 incredible facts that show the Moon in a whole new light. It's not just a silent observer in our night sky, but a dynamic and fascinating world with a dramatic past and a curious future. Which fact surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey through space, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more cosmic adventures. See you next time.